If you've ever used ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, or any of the other AI tools flooding the internet, you've probably seen things that look creative. AI can write poems, design graphics, make music, edit videos, but does that mean AI is actually creating, or is something else happening entirely? Welcome to Teach My Heart, where we explore faith questions with curiosity and humility in order to know God more deeply. And today we're exploring the question, will AI replace human creativity? Before we attempt to answer that question, let's look up the definition of create. Merriam-Webster defines create as to bring into existence. Based on that definition, AI certainly appears to create. You type a prompt, a story appears, an image appears, a song appears. Something that didn't exist before exists now. Case closed, right? Mm, Not exactly. Because the Bible tells us creation is so much more than producing an output. The Bible begins with these words: In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Scripture doesn't simply describe God as someone who produces things, it reveals him as creator with a capital C, the source of all existence, the one who created everything from nothing. Then scripture tells us something important about creation. So God made man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Human beings are uniquely made in the image and likeness of God. We reason, we imagine, we choose, we love, we form relationships, we seek truth. And because we're made in the image of a creator God, we have the ability to participate in creation as well, even by developing new technologies like artificial intelligence. Pope Leo XIV's recent encyclical, Magnifica Humanitas, addressed the rapid growth of artificial intelligence. There's a lot packed into those pages, but what struck me was that his primary concern wasn't the technology itself, it was us. Specifically, what happens when we begin measuring human beings by the standards of machines that we created. One line stood out to me in particular. He writes, in the era of artificial intelligence, when human dignity is threatened by new forms of dehumanization, ours is the pressing duty to remain profoundly human. Remain profoundly human. What does that mean? After all, AI can process information faster than we can. It can generate content faster than we can. It can analyze enormous amounts of data in seconds. But intelligence is not the same thing as wisdom. Information isn't the same thing as understanding. And generating an answer is not the same thing as knowing why that answer matters in the first place. The church has always taught that a human person is so much more than a mind, more than a body, more than a collection of cells, skills, or outputs. Each person possesses an inherent dignity because they are created by God and loved by God. And that's something no technology can claim. But if we're not careful, we can begin evaluating ourselves the same way we evaluate machines, by our productivity, efficiency, outputs, our performance. When that happens, we risk forgetting something essential. Our value does not come from what we produce, it comes from who we are. Now, don't get me wrong, AI can be an incredible tool. In fact, I used AI while preparing this episode. It helped me organize my ideas, refine my drafts, but it didn't wrestle with this question. It didn't form my perspective, and it certainly didn't decide to be transparent about using AI in the script. That was on me. I did that. And that's the key difference. AI generates outputs based on inputs, patterns, and data. Human beings create from experience, intention, imagination, and relationship. AI can imitate creativity, but it can't participate in the way a human person can. So, will AI replace human creativity? If creativity simply means producing outputs, then yes. In some cases, AI is already replacing certain creative tasks, but If creativity is something deeper, an expression of imagination, meaning, relationship, and love, then no. And perhaps that's one of the most important lessons AI can teach us. The more machines imitate human creativity, the more clearly we see what makes humanity unique. It's not what we produce, it's who we are, beloved sons and daughters made in the image of a creator God. If this week's episode of Teach My Heart helped you get to know God just a little bit more, please subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode where we ask the question, who is God? Until then, keep seeking understanding.